Welcome, weary traveler, to our sanctuary of history and calm. Before we drift into the mists of the past, I invite you to subscribe and join our quiet journey through time. Tell me, where are you watching from tonight? And what does the clock show in your part of the world? I would be truly delighted to read your comments when the sun rises again. Now, take a deep, slow breath and let the heavy weight of the day slide gently off your shoulders. Close your eyes, relax your jaw, and let the present moment dissolve into the shadows. What is the final desire of a man who holds the entire world in the palm of his hand? Does he crave more power, or does he simply long for the silence of a fallen leaf? Let us find the answer together as we step into the corridors of antiquity. The golden light of the setting sun touches the cold, polished marble floor of the chamber. The heavy velvet curtains are drawn slightly apart, allowing the twilight to filter into the room. Dust motes dance slowly in the single beam of dying light, suspended in the still air. The room is vast, yet the silence within it feels intimate, heavy, and close. Underneath your feet, imagine the smooth, cool surface of the ancient stone. There is a scent here, faint and dry, like old parchment mixed with the aroma of burning beeswax. Outside, the great capital city is quietened down, its roar reduced to a distant rhythmic hum. But inside, the only sound is the soft, steady dripping of a water clock in the corner. Drip, drip. Time is measuring itself out, drop by precious drop, echoing against the stone walls. Sitting in a high-backed wooden chair is a figure silhouetted against the fading window. He does not move, for his stillness is deeper and more profound than sleep. His hands rest upon the carved armrests, weathered and mapped with the prominent veins of age. These are hands that have signed treaties, commanded legions, and shaped the fate of millions. Now they simply feel the grain of the wood beneath them, anchoring him to the moment. The fabric of his robe is heavy, a deep imperial purple that looks almost black in the gathering shadows. A gentle breeze stirs the air from the balcony, carrying the coolness of the coming night. He takes a slow breath, and the heavy fabric on his chest rises and falls with great effort. In this moment, he is not an emperor. He is merely a breath in the vastness of time. The candle on the desk flickers once, casting long, soft shadows against the painted frescoes of the walls. The flame steadies itself, standing tall and unwavering in the heavy air. It illuminates a roll of parchment resting near his right hand on the desk. The paper is old, its edges curled and yellowed like a dry autumn leaf. His eyes, clouded by the years, rest gently upon this silent messenger. He does not reach for it yet, content simply to know it is there waiting. Memories drift through his mind like clouds passing over a moonlit lake. He remembers the sound of horses on cobblestone from a lifetime ago. He recalls the taste of cold mountain water on a hot summer campaign. These fragments are more vivid now than the crown sitting on the velvet pillow. The crown gleams dully in the shadows, a circle of gold that feels incredibly heavy. But here, in this quiet hour, the weight is finally lifted from his brow. Your own body sinks deeper into comfort as you watch him let go. Imagine the tension leaving your muscles just as the power leaves his. The room seems to breathe with him, expanding and contracting slowly. A fine layer of dust covers a small, delicate marble bust on the shelf. It is the face of a woman he loved before the world knew his name. Her stone eyes look out eternally towards a horizon she will never see. He blinks slowly, the motion taking a long, luxurious moment to complete. Outside the window, the sky has turned from purple to a deep, bruised blue. The first star of the evening makes its shy appearance above the city walls. It is a tiny pinprick of white light in the vast ocean of the night. He wonders if that star looks down on the northern forests of his youth. A sudden, soft rustle of fabric breaks the near-perfect silence of the room. A servant stands by the door, invisible in the shadows, waiting for a sign. The emperor knows he is there, but does not turn his head to look. There is no need for words between them, only this shared quiet vigil. The connection between master and servant is a thin, invisible thread. It stretches across the room, vibrating with the unspoken duty of the night. He lifts one finger, a movement so slight it is almost imagined. It is time to begin the final task, the recording of the last wish. The servant melts away from the door like a shadow retreating at dawn. Footsteps, soft as fallen wool, recede down the long, echoing stone corridor. You are alone with the emperor again in this bubble of thickening silence. The air around you feels cooler now, settling against your skin like silk. Listen closely to the quiet. It is the sound of history holding its breath. He adjusts his position in a chair, a slow, deliberate shifting of weight. The old wood creaks in protest, a dry cracking sound in the stillness. His gaze moves from the window to the empty space before his desk. A second figure enters the room, but this one carries the tools of record. It is the scribe, a man whose life is measured in ink and vellum. He bows low, a silent fold of dark fabric against the darker stone. The emperor does not acknowledge the bow, for ceremony has lost its meaning. The scribe takes his place at a smaller table, setting down a wooden box. The latch clicks open loudly, a sharp intrusion into the quiet rhythm. From the velvet interior, he lifts a glass jar filled with dark, rich ink. The liquid is black and still, like the deepest waters of a midnight lake. Next comes the quill, a long, pale feather stripped from a large bird. The tip is sharp, ready to scratch the surface of the waiting future. The scribe smooths out a fresh piece of parchment, the sound like dry leaves rustling. He dips the pen into the ink, and a single black drop hangs suspended. The emperor watches the drop, fascinated by its perfect, heavy roundness. It falls back into the jar with a tiny, almost inaudible plip. Now, the room waits for the first word, the first sound of the final command. Your breathing slows down, matching the measured pace of the moment. Feel the stillness in your own limbs, mirroring the stillness in the room. The emperor opens his mouth, his lips dry and slightly parted. A breath escapes him, but it carries no sound, only the weight of thought. The scribe's hand hovers over the paper, trembling ever so slightly. He is about to capture lightning in a bottle, the final will of a giant. The first word is spoken, soft as a crumbling stone. Right. The sound of his voice is deeper than the ocean, resonating in the quiet room. It is a voice that has commanded armies, but now it barely whispers above the silence. The scribe's hand steadies immediately, obedient to that familiar, ancient tone. The quill touches the parchment, making first contact with the textured skin of the page. Listen closely now to the distinct scratch of the nib against the surface. It is a dry, rhythmic sound, like a small insect moving through dry summer grass. Black ink flows easily from the tip, staining the pale, virgin surface forever. Curves and lines begin to form, trapping spoken sounds into permanent, visible shapes. I, Valerius, he begins, stating a name that the entire world already knows. The name looks strange written down here, smaller somehow than the man himself. He pauses, and the scratching instantly stops, leaving a sudden pool of deep silence. In this silence, you can hear the slow, steady beating of your own calm heart. Let the hypnotic rhythm of the writing become the rhythm of your deep rest. The air in the room is thick with the smells of old wax, dust, and time. Outside the thick walls, the great city has fallen completely asleep under the stars. Emperor of the known lands, he continues, his voice gaining a temporary strength. The scribe writes faster now, his hand hurrying to keep pace with the heavy titles. The words flow out of him, a river of power that is finally drying up. He lists his great conquests, not with pride, but simply as a matter of fact. He closes his eyes while he speaks, seeing the vast maps clearly in his mind. The candle flame reflects gently on his pale, tired, and wrinkled eyelids. His hands are still gripping the arms of the wooden chair, anchoring him to the earth. The ink glistens wetly in the warm candlelight before sinking deep into the fibers. It smells faintly metallic, a sharp scent cutting through the warm stillness. The scribe dips the pen again into the jar, a necessary interruption in the flow. A tiny drop of excess ink falls onto the wooden table, staining it dark. The long list of grand titles and mighty deeds finally comes to an end. The emperor opens his eyes and looks directly at the flickering heart of the flame. Forget all of that, he whispers suddenly, surprising the scratching pen into stillness. The scribe stops completely, his hand hovering in utter confusion over the wet ink. The scribe's eyes grow wide in the dim light, reflecting his sudden uncertainty. A drop of ink falls from the suspended pen, landing with a tiny splash on the wooden table. He looks at the powerful man in the chair, unsure if he has heard the command correctly. The air in the room seems to thicken, heavy with unspoken questions and ancient dust. You can feel the weight of the scribe's confusion settling gently over your own mind. Let go of the need to understand, just as the emperor is letting go of his glorious past. The emperor turns his head slowly, looking away from the candle and towards the dark balcony. Those are just words, he says, his voice sounding like dry leaves blowing over cold stone. They are dust in the wind, carrying no weight in the final reckoning of a soul. The scribe remains frozen, his hand still hovering uselessly over the waiting parchment. Outside, the night breeze picks up, rustling the heavy velvet curtains just a little. The sound is soft, like the distant comforting whispering of forgotten ancestors. Write only what I say now, the emperor commands, but gently this time, like a father. The scribe nods quickly, a jerky motion that betrays his inner nervousness and awe. He dips the pen again, readying himself for the true message to finally begin. The emperor closes his eyes once more, retreating into the vast landscape of his memory. He is searching for something specific, something small and infinitely precious to him. Imagine yourself searching with him, drifting through the quiet, shadowed halls of your own mind. The room is so quiet you can almost hear the slow rush of blood in your ears. A log shifts in the unseen fireplace, sending up a brief flurry of soft orange sparks. The smell of burning wood momentarily overpowers the scent of old wax and parchment. I desire, he begins, and then pauses for a very long time, tasting the words. The pause stretches out, becoming a vast silent space in the very center of the room. You are floating in this space, weightless, timeless, and perfectly calm. What could this man possibly desire that he does not already possess in abundance? His chest rises slowly, filling deep with the cool night air flowing from the balcony. I desire to be buried, he continues, his voice steadier and clearer now. The scribe writes quickly, the scratching sound returning to fill the void with purpose. Not in the great imperial mausoleum with the towering golden dome. The scratching stops abruptly again, the refusal hanging heavy and shocking in the air. The scribe's breath catches in his throat with a sharp, audible intake of air. He stares at the back of the emperor's head, unable to comprehend the words. The imperial mausoleum is the final resting place of gods, not mere mortals. To refuse it is to refuse history itself, a blasphemy against all tradition. Yet the emperor sits unmoved, a stone statue wrapped in deep purple silk. Let the weight of tradition fall away from your own mind as you listen. Imagine the heavy golden dome of the mausoleum dissolving into mist. The air in the room feels lighter now, freed from the burden of expectation. You are sinking deeper into comfort, just as the emperor sinks into truth. The scribe clears his throat nervously, a tiny scratchy sound in the silence. "My lord," he whispers, his voice trembling like a taut bowstring. The emperor does not turn, keeping his gaze fixed on the distant dark. "You heard me correctly," he says, his voice flat and unyielding as granite. "I have had enough of gold and cold marble in this long lifetime." The candle flickers violently for a moment, casting wild shadows on the ceiling. The scent of melted beeswax becomes stronger, heavier in the warm air. Outside, a night bird calls out once, a lonely, haunting three-note song. The sound drifts through the open balcony doors and fades into the corners. "When the final sleep comes," the emperor says softly, almost dreamily, "I wish to rest far from this city of noise and eternal stone." He lifts one hand from the armrest and gestures vaguely towards the north. The movement is slow and fluid, like a branch swaying in a gentle, deep-sea current. His mind is traveling now, leaving the heavy body behind in the chair. Follow him in your mind's eye, gliding over moonlit plains and silent rivers. "There is a place," he murmurs, half to himself, half to the shadows. "A place where the earth smells rich and damp after the spring rain." The scribe's pen hovers again, waiting to capture the location of this sacred spot. You can feel the cool mist of that distant place settling on your skin. Breathe in deeply and smell the phantom scent of wet soil and green pine needles. The emperor smiles faintly, the first expression to touch his face tonight. "It is a small hill," he whispers, his eyes seeing things far beyond the walls, overlooking a valley where the morning mist clings to the grass like wool. The scribe writes, the scratch of the pen softer now, almost respectful. Imagine this hill in your mind, gentle and green under a soft gray sky. The grass there is tall and soft, bending low when the wind passes through. There stands an old oak tree, the emperor continues, his voice warm with love. Its roots are deep, twisting into the dark, cool earth like ancient fingers. He remembers touching that bark, rough and craggy against his young palms. Can you feel the texture of rough bark under your own fingertips right now? It is a grounding sensation, solid and real in a world of fleeting shadows. The room around him seems to fade, replaced by the phantom rustle of leaves. A draft from the window carries the scent of the city, but he smells only pine. I sat under that tree, he says, before I ever wore a helmet of steel. The memory is a sanctuary, a safe harbor in the stormy sea of his life. His breathing deepens, matching the slow rhythmic swaying of the imaginary branches. You are sitting there with him, safe and hidden beneath the canopy of green. The light in the room is dim, but the light in his memory is golden and pure. The scribe dips the quill again, the inkwell making a soft clinking sound. It is the only anchor keeping them in the present moment. No marble columns, the emperor murmurs, shaking his head very slightly. No statues of stone staring with blank eyes into the eternity. Just the earth, he says, simple, honest, and welcoming to the weary bone. The thought brings a wave of relaxation that washes over the entire room. Feel that wave washing over you, starting from your head and moving down through your neck, your shoulders, settling deep into your spine. The emperor's hands relax on the armrests, his fingers uncurling finally. He looks at the scribe with a gaze that is sudden and startlingly clear. Do you understand? He asks, his voice cutting through the dreamlike haze. The scribe looks up, blinking rapidly as if waking from a deep trance. He nods slowly, his fear replaced by a strange, quiet understanding. The scribe finishes writing the words, his hand moving with newfound steadiness. The scratching stops, leaving behind a silence that feels soft and welcoming. The emperor speaks again, his voice a low rumble like distant thunder. Just a simple wooden box, he murmurs, almost to himself. Imagine the scent of raw pine wood, clean and sharp in the air. No gold, no jewels, nothing that shines in the darkness, he insists gently. The deep shadows in the corners of the room seem to nod in agreement. He wishes to return to the cycle of nature naked as he came. Let the roots of that great tree become my final cradle. A long silence follows, allowing that powerful image to settle in the mind. The scribe writes down these words, which would be heresy for any other man. But here, in this room, they feel like the only absolute truth. The emperor looks back out the window towards the infinite night sky. The stars above seem brighter now, clearer in the cool, dark expanse. And one more thing, he adds softly, breaking the spell gently. The candle flame seems to steady itself, as if leaning in to listen. No grand procession through the wide city streets, he commands. Imagine the city sleeping, its streets empty and quiet under the moon. No weeping crowds, no brass trumpets sounding the note of grief. Just silence, deep and unbroken. just a quiet journey at the very first light of dawn. He pictures it when the world is suspended quietly between the darkness and the light. The air is coolest then, fresh and clean upon the skin. Feel that cool, regenerating morning air touching your own face now. The scribe records this final instruction with a solemn, slow nod. The parchment is almost full now, heavy with the weight of a soul. The emperor sighs, a sound of immense, profound relief filling the chamber. It is the sound of a heavy burden finally being dropped to the ground. The room feels peaceful now, almost holy in its absolute simplicity. The end of the long road is near, and it is welcome. The scribe lifts the quill for the very last time, his task complete. The ink shines wetly on the page, reflecting the candle's steady glow, but he reaches for a small bowl and sprinkles fine sand over the words. The sound is soft and dry, like rain falling on autumn leaves. He blows the excess sand away with a gentle, deliberate puff of air. The words are now set, irrevocable and permanent as carved stone. The emperor turns back from the window, his eyes surprisingly clear and bright. "Is it done?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper in the room. The scribe nods respectfully, unable to speak past the lump in his throat. He stands up slowly, his stiff knees cracking faintly in the silence. He brings the parchment to the emperor for the final binding seal. The emperor looks at the paper, but he does not read the words. He trusts the moment, and he trusts the silence of the night. From his finger, he slides off the heavy golden signet ring. It leaves a pale, indented band of skin where it has sat for decades. The ring feels warm from his body, pulsing with a faint residual life. The scribe brings a stick of red sealing wax to the candle flame. It melts quickly, dripping a thick, hot puddle onto the bottom of the scroll. The smell of melting resin is sharp and pungent, filling the small space. The emperor presses the ring into the soft, yielding red wax. He holds it there, his hand trembling with a slight, aged tremor. He is pressing his identity into the document for the very last time. He lifts the ring away, leaving the eagle impression deep and clear. The deed is done. The great circle is finally closed. He hands the ring to the scribe, not putting it back on his finger. "Keep it," he says softly. "I have no more need of it." The scribe gasps, holding the heavy symbol of empire in his shaking palm. It is just a piece of metal now, cooling rapidly in the air. The emperor leans back into the chair, closing his eyes with a faint smile. A profound peace settles over him, deeper and sweeter than any sleep. The scribe looks at the heavy gold ring resting in his open palm. It catches the last light of the candle, gleaming with a dull, ancient fire. He bows lower than he has ever bowed before, touching his forehead to the air. "Go now," the emperor whispers, his eyes remaining gently closed. "Leave me to the company of the shadows and the friendly silence." The scribe backs away slowly, clutching the parchment and a ring to his chest. The heavy wooden door creaks open on its well-oiled iron hinges. A sliver of bright light from the corridor cuts across the floor like a blade. Then the door closes with a final heavy thud that seals the room. Click! The latch falls into place, locking the noisy world outside away forever. Now there is only the man, the chair, and the breathing room. The silence rushes back in to fill the empty space left by the scribe. It wraps around the emperor like a warm, heavy blanket of soft wool. He lets out a breath he feels he has been holding for 40 years. His shoulders drop another inch, sinking deeper into the carved wood. The tension in his neck dissolves like sugar in warm water. Feel that same warm water dissolving the tension in your own neck now. The water clock in the corner continues its patient wet counting. Drop! Drop! But time no longer matters to him. It is just a soothing sound. He opens his eyes one last time to look at the quiet sanctuary. The frescoes on the walls seem to be moving slightly in the dim light. Painted trees and rivers come alive in the flickering, dancing shadows. He feels light, lighter than the dust motes floating in the air. The crown is gone. The ring is gone. The heavy title is gone. He is just a vessel of bone and spirit floating in the dark. The candle flame dips low, consuming the very last of its wick. A pool of hot wax spreads across the brass holder, smooth and flat. The light is fading, preparing the stage for the final act of sleep. Echo, echo, echo. The flame pulses one last time, a heartbeat of pure orange light. It struggles briefly against the coming dark, then surrenders with grace. A thin ribbon of gray smoke rises straight up into the still air. It smells of extinguished fire, a sharp but comforting scent of endings. Now the room is truly dark, save for the moonlight on the floor. The silver light spills across the stones like a silent, cold river. It touches the hem of his robe, turning the deep purple fabric to gray. He watches the dust motes slow down in the cooler air. Everything is slowing down, settling into a deep, immobile state. His eyelids feel heavy, weighted by a pleasant, warm exhaustion. Your eyelids are heavy too, mirroring his peaceful state. Let them close gently, shutting out the visual world completely. In the dark, his hearing becomes sharper, more acute and sensitive. He hears the wind singing softly through the stone arches outside. It is a lullaby that has been sung here for 1,000 years. He leans his head back against the tall, cushioned rest of the chair. The velvet feels soft and forgiving against his thinning white hair. He is no longer an emperor in a palace. He is a child in a cradle. The memories of the day, the scribe, the ring, the ink, fade away. They recede like the tide pulling back from a sandy shore, leaving behind a smooth, clean surface of quiet mind. He places his hands on his lap, clasping them loosely together. The warmth of his own skin is a small comfort in the large room. His heart beats slow and strong, a drum in the deep cave of his chest. Thump, 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 thump. It is the only clock that matters now in this silent hour. He allows himself to drift, floating on the edge of a dream. The boundary between the room and his mind begins to blur. He is safe here, protected by the thick walls and the night. The stone walls of the chamber dissolve into the soft gray mist of imagination. He is walking now not on cold marble, but on soft, yielding earth. The air here is crisp, biting at his cheeks with a pleasant awakening chill. He is young again, his legs feeling strong and tireless on the path. Feel that sense of renewed strength flowing into your own tired limbs. The path winds upwards through a dense, silent forest of ancient pines. Needles crunch softly under his leather boots with every deliberate step. Crunch, crunch. The sound is rhythmic and satisfying, grounding him to this new reality. Sunlight filters through the canopy in shafts of pure dusty gold. It warms the back of his neck, chasing away the deep palace chill. He reaches out to touch a fern, its leaves unfurling like green lace. The plant is wet with morning dew, cool and refreshing against his skin. There is no weight on his shoulders here, no heavy purple robes. He wears a simple tunic of rough wool, scratching gently at his skin. It feels honest and real, unlike the silk that slips and lies. A squirrel chatters from a high branch, scolding him playfully. He laughs, a sound that has not left his tight throat in years. The laugh is rusty but genuine, shaking his chest with forgotten joy. He continues climbing, the slope gentle and easy for his feet. The smell of sticky sap and resin is thick, filling his lungs with life. Breathe in that pine scent with him, clearing your own busy mind. The trees begin to thin out, revealing patches of deep blue sky. He is nearing the clearing, the sacred place of his final wish. His heart beats faster, not from effort, but from pure anticipation. He steps out of the shadow of the woods and into the open light. The valley opens up below him, a vast bowl of green and gold. He has arrived at the sanctuary of his soul. He stops to take it all in, standing still in the waving tall grass. The wind greets him here, rushing up from the valley floor to meet him. It plays with his hair, tossing the loose strands across his forehead. He closes his eyes and spreads his arms wide to the endless sky. He feels like a bird poised on the very edge of flight. The air tastes sweet on his tongue, like wild honey and clover flowers. Far below, a river winds through the land like a shimmering silver ribbon. It reflects the sun, flashing bright, silent signals to the watcher above. Everything is connected here, woven into a single, seamless tapestry of life. You are part of this tapestry too, woven securely into the calm. Feel your own deep connection to the earth beneath you right now. He lowers his arms and looks toward the center of the grassy hill. There it stands, the guardian of his memories, the great oak. It is massive, a wooden mountain rising from the green earth. Its branches spread out wider than the roof of any imperial palace. The leaves are a vibrant, living green, rustling in their thousands. They whisper secrets to each other that no man can truly understand. The trunk is thick and gnarled, scarred by centuries of time and storms. It looks like the face of a wise old man, enduring and silent. He walks towards it, the tall grass brushing against his bare knees. Swish, swish. The sound is soft and hypnotic, calming his racing, joyful heart. A butterfly, blue as the summer sky, flits erratically across his path. He watches it dance away, unconcerned with empires or heavy wars. In this place, he is not a ruler, he is merely a guest. The shadow of the tree reaches out to welcome him home. It is cool and inviting, a pool of shade on a hot hill. He steps into the shadow, and the bright sun is instantly muted. The temperature drops pleasantly, soothing his heated skin immediately. He reaches out a hand to touch the rough, warm bark. The bark feels rough and solid, vibrating with a deep, slow life. It is warm from the sun, storing the heat like a living stone. He presses his forehead against the trunk, closing his eyes tight. He can almost feel the sap rising up from the hidden roots. It is a slow, steady pulse, much slower than his own blood. Let your own pulse slow down to match the rhythm of the tree. He slides down the trunk, bending his knees until he sits. The earth receives him, firm and supportive beneath his weight. He leans his back against the tree, fit him perfectly into the grooves. It embraces him, holding him upright without any effort. Above him, the canopy is a stained glass window of green leaves. Sunlight filters through in dappled patterns, shifting on his hands. He watches a small black ant navigate the mountains of his knuckle. It moves with purpose, ignoring the giant who watches it. He smiles at the tiny creature, feeling a kinship with it. They are both just travelers on this ancient spinning sphere. The smell of the earth is stronger here, rich and dark. It smells of decaying leaves, damp soil, and new growth. He digs his fingers into the dirt, grounding himself completely. The soil is cool and crumbly, getting under his clean nails. It feels real, more real than the gold coins he used to hold. He closes his eyes and listens to the symphony of the hill. The wind rustling the leaves sounds like a distant ocean. Bees hum in the clover, a low, vibrating drone of industry. It is a heavy, sleepy sound that pulls the eyelids down. Buzz, buzz. The rhythm is constant, unchanging, and deeply comforting. He feels his body merging with the tree, becoming wood and root. He is no longer separate. He is planted. The sun begins its slow, majestic descent across the waiting sky. Shadows start to lengthen, stretching out like long, sleepy fingers. The light changes from bright noon gold to a softer, warmer amber. Time seems to stop here, suspended in a drop of golden sap. He watches a single white cloud drift lazily overhead. It changes shape slowly, morphing from a castle into a silent ship. Drifting, just drifting, with absolutely no destination in mind. Your thoughts are drifting too, floating away like soft white clouds. The air grows stiller as the afternoon deepens into evening. Even the busy ants seem to slow their frantic, tiny pace. The heat of the day radiates gently upwards from the ground. It warms his legs, a comforting, heavy blanket of invisible heat. His breathing aligns perfectly with the slow sway of the branches, in and out, like the tide of a calm sea, deep and slow, anchoring him to the earth. A small brown bird lands on a branch just above his head. He holds his breath, not wanting to startle the little visitor. It preens its feathers, completely unaware of his quiet presence. He is just another part of the natural landscape to the bird, just a stone or a stump, quiet and harmless in the shade. This anonymity is the greatest gift he has ever received, to be seen but not judged by anyone or anything. To be present but not demanded of by the world. The bird takes flight again, a sudden soft flutter of wings. Flap, flap, a sound like card shuffling. He watches it disappear into the blue vastness of the sky. A single, small feather drifts down, spinning slowly in the air. It lands softly on his knee, a tiny token of absolute freedom. He picks it up, marveling at its incredible lightness. It weighs nothing, just like his soul in this perfect moment. The great golden orb of the sun finally touches the distant horizon line. It begins to sink slowly, as if melting into the very edge of the world. The sky transforms into a painter's palette of soft, merging colors. Streaks of dusty rose and pale violet stretch across the fading blue. The light becomes softer, diffusing the sharp edges of reality into dreams. A cooler breeze rises from the valley, touching his face gently like silk. It smells faintly of damp river stones and flowers closing for the night. The daytime hum of the bees fades away completely into silence. It is replaced by the tentative, solitary chirp of an evening cricket. Chirp, chirp, a tiny rhythmic beacon sounding in the growing dusk. The shadows under the tree deepen, becoming pools of soft, velvet black. Your own body feels heavier now, sinking deeper into its own rest. Let gravity take over completely, surrendering all remaining effort. His eyes close again, not from sleepiness, but from pure peace. He listens to the world settling down for the long night ahead. Dew begins to form on the very tips of the tall grass blades around him, tiny, perfect spheres of water, cool and clear like liquid crystal. He feels the moisture seeping slowly through his thin wool tunic. It is a refreshing chill that grounds him firmly to the earth beneath. The bark at his back feels solid, an unmoving anchor in time. In this twilight memory, he is perfectly and absolutely content. There are no maps to study here, no battles to ever plan again, only the simple, profound act of existing right here, right now. His breath becomes invisible, merging seamlessly with the cool air in and out, smooth and flowing as silk. The violet in the sky deepens into a rich, dark indigo. The first star of the evening appears, bright and solitary above the tree. He opens his eyes to look at it, a tiny immortal spark in the vastness. The indigo sky deepens further, turning into a vast, endless ocean of black. One by one, the silent watchers of the night ignite their silver fires. The constellations form their ancient patterns, older than any stone empire. He traces the invisible lines between them, connecting the dots of light. They look like diamonds scattered carelessly on a dark, heavy velvet cloak. The air is fully cold now, a crisp bite that makes him feel purely alive. He pulls the rough wool tunic tighter around his shoulders for warmth, but a cold does not reach his bones. It stays only on the surface. Inside his chest there is a warm, glowing ember of pure contentment. The solitary cricket is joined by another, and then yet another. A choir of invisible singers rises from the dark, unseen grass. Chirp, chirp, a rhythmic pulse that mimics the heartbeat of the earth. He feels the vibrations of their song traveling through the solid ground. It moves into the roots, up the trunk, and into his own resting spine. You are connected to this rhythm too, deep in your own quiet rest. Feel the earth supporting you, holding you up without any effort at all. There is no need to hold yourself up anymore. Gravity does the work. Let go completely. The emperor tilts his head back, resting it against the hard, living wood. The texture of the bark is imprinted on his skin, a map of nature. He feels like he is sinking backwards, merging into the tree itself, becoming part of the grain, part of the sap, part of the history. A shooting star slashes across the sky, a brief stroke of white chalk. It burns bright for a split second and then vanishes into nothingness. Like me, he thinks, without a single trace of sadness or fear. Just a brief, bright flash of light in the eternal dark of the universe. The thought brings a faint smile to his lips, unseen in the shadows. To vanish is not to be lost. It is to become everything. He closes his eyes, letting the bright afterimage of the star fade away. The darkness behind his eyelids is warm, welcoming, and incredibly vast. The vivid memory of the hill begins to soften around the edges. It retreats gently, like the tide slipping away from a moonlit shore. Leaving behind a smooth, quiet emptiness in his mind, he is back in a great stone chamber now, but the peace remains intact. The sensation of rough bark on his back is slowly replaced by soft velvet. It feels plush and deep, like sinking into a warm, supportive cloud. Your own bed feels like that cloud now, soft and perfectly welcoming. The smell of pine resin shifts subtly back to beeswax and old dust, but the air is still cool, still fresh against his tired, relaxed skin. His body feels incredibly heavy now, saturated with a deep, ancient rest. Every single muscle has let go of its tight hold on the bone. Imagine your own muscles letting go right now, dissolving into pure softness, melting like warm honey, flowing down towards the center of the earth. His hands are still clasped loosely in his lap, heavy and perfectly still. They feel like two smooth carved stones resting at the bottom of a clear pool. The silence in the room is absolute, a thick, comforting, protective presence. Even the water clock in the corner seems to have paused its eternal counting. There is only the sound of his own slow, very shallow breathing. A gentle, humming warmth spreads slowly through the center of his chest. It radiates outwards like ripples on a pond, moving down his arms, past his elbows, into his wrists, right to the very tips of his fingers. Feel that warmth reaching your own fingertips now, heavy and tingling. It moves down his legs, past his knees, to the soles of his resting feet. He is completely encased in this cocoon of warm, heavy stillness. The physical boundaries of his body seem to be dissolving once again. He is expanding outwards, softly filling the quiet, dark room with peace. He is the chair, he is the stone floor, he is the silent air. There is no separation anymore between the dreamer and the dream. He is floating in the vast, safe ocean of the space between thoughts. The final journey has already begun in the quiet chambers of his heart. His mind is now a vast, dark ocean, completely still and glass-like. There are no waves here, no currents to push or pull him anywhere. You are floating on that same still water right now, weightless and free. Feel yourself drifting gently on the surface of that deep, quiet calm. Each slow breath you take is a tiny ripple pushing you further out, further away from the shore of a wake, further into the deep peace. The heavy velvet of the chair is no longer felt against his skin. He is floating suspended in the warm darkness of his own being. He hears only the very faint, slow drum of his resting heart, a soft bum-bum, echoing in a vast, empty internal cavern. It is a lullaby of pure existence, simple and profoundly steady. He feels himself sinking down through layers of soft consciousness, like a heavy, precious stone settling slowly through clear, warm water. Sink with him now, down through the layers of your own deep rest, down past the thoughts of the day, past the worries of tomorrow, deeper and deeper into the velvety blackness underneath it all. The space behind his closed eyelids is infinite, a universe without stars. It is not empty, but filled to the brim with thick, potential peace. The air in the physical room feels thick and soft, like spun wool. It wraps around him tight, a cocoon of safety and absolute silence. The very last bit of tension leaves the space between his brows. His face is smooth now, expressionless and calm, like a sleeping child's. Feel the space between your own brows smoothing out right now. Let your jaw unhinge slightly, releasing all effort to hold it up. The wish is made, the ring is given, the heavy burden is gone. There is nothing left to do but surrender completely to the tide. A sense of absolute completion washes over him like a slow wave. It is the feeling of a long, hard journey finally ending at home. He is ready now, truly ready for the great letting go. He drifts deeper into the welcoming arms of the waiting night. The darkness wraps around him like a heavy, ancient velvet cloak. It is soft, warm, and infinitely protective against the cold world. He feels safe here, safer than he ever felt behind high stone walls. The fortress of his body is slowly unlocking its heavy iron gates. The drawbridge is down, inviting the quiet night to finally enter. Allow your own defenses to lower gently one by one right now. There is no need to guard anything in this sanctuary of deep sleep. The memory of the green hill flickers once more in the distance. It is not a picture anymore, but a pure feeling of deep belonging. He feels the phantom roots gently tangling with his tired feet. They are pulling him down, anchoring him to the core of the world, down into the cool, dark soil where all things must eventually rest. Imagine that sensation of being rooted, solid, and completely immovable. The wind of worry may blow above, but you are deep, deep below. You are safe in the timeless stillness of the underground dark. He takes a breath, and it feels like drinking cool spring water. It washes through his chest, cleansing the accumulated dust of the past. The water clock's dripping sound has finally faded into absolute nothing. There is no time here, only the eternal, stretching, silent now. The concept of tomorrow dissolves like morning mist in the sun. There is only this breath, this moment, and this deep peace. He forgets the weight of the golden crown completely and finally. He forgets the scratch of the scribe's pen on the parchment. He even forgets his own name, shedding it like an old dry skin. He is simply a presence, a tiny point of light in the void. Floating, drifting, sinking deeper into the soft, welcoming abyss. Your body is sinking with him, heavy and pleasantly, perfectly numb. Every inch of skin feels relaxed, smooth, and totally untroubled. The silence is a song that only the weary soul can truly hear. Listen to it now, filling the spaces between your slow thoughts. A profound stillness settles over the chamber like a fine, invisible dust. It covers everything, smoothing out the rough edges of the world. The emperor's chest moves with a rhythm barely perceptible to the eye. Rise and fall, a slow motion wave on a calm sea. The air in his lungs is no longer separate from the room's quiet air. There is only one continuous, unbroken field of gentle energy. He feels the sturdy wood of the chair pressing against his spine. It supports him completely, asking for absolutely nothing in return. Feel the surface beneath you supporting your own spine right now. Trust it to hold you, just as the earth holds the heavy mountain. His hands have forgotten how to grasp, how to hold, how to fight. They are open and empty, ready to receive the gift of rest. Imagine your own hands uncurling, finger by finger, into softness. The tension in your palms evaporates like water in the sun. He is drifting further away from the shore of his own life. The lights of the harbor are fading into the distant cool mist. He does not look back, for there is nothing left to carry. The journey forward is lighter, easier, and infinitely more quiet. A sense of floating weightlessness begins to lift him up. He is hovering just above the heavy chair, a spirit unchained. The silence rings in his ears, a pure, high, clear note. It is the sound of the universe singing him gently to sleep. His mind is a calm lake at the very bottom of a deep cave. Not a single ripple disturbs the perfect, glassy black surface. Thoughts glide over it like shadows, touching nothing at all. You are watching those shadows pass, detached and perfectly calm. Deep, deep, down into the comfort of the velvet dark. The darkness is not empty. It is full of soft, warm potential. He rests there, suspended in the amber of the eternal moment, waiting for the final gentle tide to carry him out. The moon has moved across the high arc of the night sky. Its light shifts on the floor, inching closer to the silent figure. It touches his face now, a pale and gentle caress of silver. He does not flinch, for the light feels like a cool blessing. In the quiet theater of his mind, he is back under the great oak, but now it is night on the hill too, mirroring the room perfectly. The stars above the dream hill are the same as the stars outside. Everything has merged into one single, seamless reality of peace. He feels the phantom grass beneath him, cool and damp with dew. He feels the real velvet beneath him, warm and dry and soft. The two sensations blend into a single, overwhelming feeling of comfort. Allow your own surroundings to blend with this comfort right now. The wind in the dream whispers softly through the invisible leaves. Shh, shh. It sounds like a mother calming a restless child in the dark. His heart slows down another beat, finding a new lower rhythm. Thump. Thump. It is the slow, dormant rhythm of deep winter sleep. The sap in the great trees slows down, waiting patiently for the spring. He is waiting too, with infinite patience and no fear. There is no rush here, no urgency, and absolutely no time. Just this vast, expanding velvet silence filling the universe. He sinks deeper into the chair, deeper into the dream earth. The roots are holding him tight, wrapping him in safety. He is safe. He is held. He is finally, truly home. The pause between the heartbeats stretches into a vast, silent valley. He walks through this valley, surrounded by the mist of deep rest. There is no need to hurry, for the destination is already here. The air is thick with the fragrance of absolute silence. Breathing it in feels like drinking a cool, dark draught of sleep. Let that cool draft fill your own lungs right now. In, deep and slow, filling every corner of your chest. Out, releasing the very last wisp of the day's smoke. The Emperor's fingers uncurl completely, open to the night air. They are no longer hands that grasp. They are leaves resting on soil. He feels the gentle weight of the atmosphere pressing down. It is a comforting weight, holding him safely in place, like a heavy quilt tucked in tight on a cold winter night. You are tucked in just as tightly, safe in your own bed. The world outside continues its noisy spin far, far away, but in here, the axis is still. The center is quiet. He is at the center now. the eye of the silent storm. Nothing can touch him here, nothing can disturb this peace. He is wrapped in layers of shadow, soft and impenetrable. The light of the moon outside retreats, respecting his privacy. The room becomes a capsule of pure, undistilled night. He is floating in the womb of the universe once again, waiting to be reborn into the land of dreams. The transition is so smooth, he does not even feel it happen. Just a gentle slide from the gray twilight into the black velvet, soft, smooth, and infinitely deep. He lets go of the last thread connecting him to the shore. He is adrift. He is free. The sensation of time has completely evaporated from his mind. There is no past, no future, only this eternal stillness. He is a stone resting at the bottom of a very deep well, cool, heavy, and perfectly motionless in the dark water. The liquid above him protects him from the noise of the world. Feel that protective weight settling over your own body now. It presses gently on your eyelids, keeping them safely closed. It presses on your limbs, anchoring them to the soft bed. The emperor is no longer an emperor. He is just a sleeper. The purple robe is just cloth. The crown is just cold metal. He has returned to the simple, quiet dignity of being a man resting after a very long day of labor. The great oak tree in his mind stands guard over his sleep. Its branches do not move, for there is no wind in this deep place. Everything is suspended in a perfect, crystalline silence. He feels the sap of the tree flowing through his own veins, slow, thick, and warm, bringing life to the dormant roots. He is connected to the earth, to the sky, to the silence. There is no separation between his breath and the night air. They move together as one single, rhythmic, endless tide, in and out, merging and fading. The darkness behind his eyes is not black, but a deep, rich blue, the color of the sky just before the stars completely disappear. He floats in this blue expanse, weightless and absolutely free. There is nothing to do here but simply be, just be. Resting in the giant open palm of the universe, held tight by the gentle gravity of deep sleep, he is drifting deeper past the point of no return into the sweet, silent oblivion of the night. The pause between the heartbeats stretches into a vast, silent valley. He walks through this valley, surrounded by the mist of deep rest. There is no need to hurry, for the destination is already here. The air is thick with the fragrance of absolute silence. Breathing it in feels like drinking a cool, dark draught of sleep. Let that cool draft fill your own lungs right now. In, deep and slow, filling every corner of your chest. Out, releasing the very last wisp of the day's smoke. The emperor's fingers uncurl completely, open to the night air. They are no longer hands that grasp. They are leaves resting on soil. He feels the gentle weight of the atmosphere pressing down. It is a comforting weight, holding him safely in place, like a heavy quilt tucked in tight on a cold winter night. You are tucked in just as tightly, safe in your own bed. The world outside continues its noisy spin far, far away, but in here, the axis is still. The center is quiet. He is at the center now, the eye of the silent storm. Nothing can touch him here. Nothing can disturb this peace. He is wrapped in layers of shadow, soft and impenetrable. The light of the moon outside retreats, respecting his privacy. The room becomes a capsule of pure, undistilled night. He is floating in the womb of the universe once again, waiting to be reborn into the land of dreams. The transition is so smooth, he does not even feel it happen. Just a gentle slide from the gray twilight into the black velvet, soft, smooth, and infinitely deep. He lets go of the last thread connecting him to the shore. He is adrift. He is free. The sensation of time has completely evaporated from his mind. There is no past, no future, only this eternal stillness. He is a stone resting at the bottom of a very deep well, cool, heavy, and perfectly motionless in the dark water. The liquid above him protects him from the noise of the world. Feel that protective weight settling over your own body now. It presses gently on your eyelids, keeping them safely closed. It presses on your limbs, anchoring them to the soft bed. The emperor is no longer an emperor. He is just a sleeper. The purple robe is just cloth. The crown is just cold metal. He has returned to the simple, quiet dignity of being a man resting after a very long day of labor. The great oak tree in his mind stands guard over his sleep. Its branches do not move, for there is no wind in this deep place. Everything is suspended in a perfect, crystalline silence. He feels the sap of the tree flowing through his own veins, slow, thick, and warm, bringing life to the dormant roots. He is connected to the earth, to the sky, to the silence. There is no separation between his breath and the night air. They move together as one single, rhythmic, endless tide, in and out, merging and fading. The darkness behind his eyes is not black, but a deep, rich blue, the color of the sky just before the stars completely disappear. He floats in this blue expanse, weightless and absolutely free. There is nothing to do here but simply be, just be. Resting in the giant open palm of the universe, held tight by the gentle gravity of deep sleep, he is drifting deeper past the point of no return into the sweet, silent oblivion of the night. The last ripple of thought fades from the surface of his mind. The lake is now perfectly smooth, a mirror reflecting nothing. He has arrived at the stillness that lies beneath all things. It is a place of absolute quiet, untouched by the world. He rests there, a silent traveler who has reached his destination. You have reached that destination too, here in the dark. Feel the profound relief of simply having nowhere else to go, nowhere to be, nothing to do, no one to please. Just this breath, rising and falling in the quiet night, in, out. The emperor's face is smoothed of all lines, youthful and serene. He sleeps the sleep of the earth, heavy and regenerative. The shadows in the room stand guard like silent sentinels. They wrap the space in a protective embrace of soft gray. He is safe within the walls, safe within the night. The concept of emperor has dissolved completely into mist. He is just a breathing part of the great wide universe, a tiny peaceful atom floating in the vast cosmic sea. The water clock has stopped, its reservoir finally empty. Time has officially ceased to exist in this chamber. There is only the eternal, stretching present moment. He floats in it, suspended like a star in the void. The peace is total, absolute, and incredibly deep. It penetrates every cell, every bone, every thought. He is filled with the silence, and the silence is filled with him. They are one and the same now, merged in the dark. He drifts further, past the edge of the known world, into the gentle, welcoming arms of the deep unknown. He surrenders. The silence is now a physical weight, soft and heavy as lead. It covers him like the cool, dark earth he so desperately desired. In the deep dream, the roots of the great oak embrace him fully. They wrap around his weary soul, protecting it from the cold. He is no longer separate from the hill or the valley. He has become the wood, the leaf, and the quiet stone. This is the ultimate freedom he sought for 80 long years. The freedom to simply stop being a force in the world, to stop doing, to stop commanding, to stop thinking. Feel that freedom washing over you in slow, rhythmic waves, the freedom to let go of your own identity for the night. You are just a breathing body, safe and warm and still. The candle is long dead, the wick cold and black. The room is swallowed by the benevolent protective dark, but inside his heart there is a golden undying light. The final chapter of his life is written in invisible ink. It contains only one single perfect word: peace. He sleeps now, deeper than he has ever slept before. He rests in the arms of the history he helped to make, but he is no longer part of history. He is part of nature. The wind outside sings a soft lullaby to the stone walls. It tells the story of a man who just wanted to go home. And in the silence of this room, he has finally arrived. He is floating in the sweet, thick honey of deep sleep, drifting, sinking, settling into the eternal calm. Your eyes are sealed shut, heavy with the same peace. There is nothing left to see, nothing left to hear, only the sound of your own slow, steady breathing in and out, guiding you into the dark. He is gone into the gentle night. The world is now just a distant memory, a story told long ago. He is safe in the quiet velvet cradle of the night. The journey is over. The destination has been reached. There is no more emperor, no more empire, no more weight. Only the silence, vast and deep and unending. You are walking that same path right beside him now. Walking away from the noise, walking deep into the calm. Your body is heavy, so pleasantly and perfectly heavy. Sinking down into the mattress, sinking into the earth. Let the darkness wash over you like a warm, slow tide, cleansing away the day, leaving only the pure night. The stars above are watching over you, silent guardians. They twinkle slowly, matching the rhythm of your heart. Sleep is not a void. It is a full, rich space, a space where you are restored, healed, and kept safe. He breathes in the peace of the oak tree one last time. It fills him with the ancient scent of earth and old rain. He breathes out the very last worry of his long life, gone forever into the forgiving, welcoming dark. You are doing the same, letting it all go now. Every worry, every thought, drifting away like white smoke, fading, fading into the gentle gray mist. The room is silent. The world is silent. You are silent, resting in the perfect, still center of the moment. There is nothing left to hold on to anymore. Let your hands open. Let your mind open. Drift deeper. Sink deeper. The night is yours. Peace is yours. The great chest gives a final shallow rise and then falls into stillness. The breath leaves his body as a whisper, joining the silence of the room. He is gone from the chair, gone from the palace, gone from the world. He is dancing with the shadows of the leaves under his eternal tree. The peace he sought for so long has finally found him. Let that same peace find you now in your own quiet space. Your eyelids are too heavy to lift. They are sealed with sleep. Your body is sinking deeper into the softness of the night. There is nothing more to hear, nothing more to see, nothing more to do. Only the slow, deep rhythm of your own restful breathing, in and out, gliding gently into the dark. The story is finished, and the storyteller is silent. We leave the old emperor to his rest and turn off the light. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the quiet past. May your own rest be as deep and peaceful as his tonight. Close your eyes now and drift away on the tide of dreams. Sleep well, weary traveler. Good night. Good night. Good night.